Well, hello, and welcome to After the Show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, and this is where I share my top takeaway of this week's episode from Rooted in Retail. And this week's episode, we had Allison Yee with Popping Up Next, and we had such a great conversation about pop-ins and pop-ups. And it was really nice to bring an expert onto the show to talk about this because we have mentioned pop-ups in some past episodes and even some pop-ins as some opportunities to create experiences within your store. But then we've kind of stopped there. We haven't talked about some of those logistics and best practices and success stories from other retailers and what they're doing and results they're seeing. So that's exactly what you're going to hear on that episode. If you haven't tuned in yet, listen to that first, then come back over here. If you are in our Facebook group, I want you to post, have you done a pop-up or a pop-in? And I would love to see a photo. We could take it a step further if you've got a photo of that. I know other retail members in the Facebook group would love to see your photos too. So if you're not in the group, go to facebook.com, search for Rooted in Retail, join the group, and then let us know. You could just do your own post and say, yes, I do pop-ups, or yes, I do pop-ins, and here's some photo examples of what I do. If you want to share any more about how you do it, how you market it, results you've seen, the community in that group would absolutely love to hear from you. So share away. And if you are watching this video in the Facebook group, give me a hello, heck yeah, woot woot, something, a little hello, so I know that you're here watching this video. Now, my big takeaway from this episode was the ability to create FOMO, fear of missing out, through pop-ins or pop-ups. And I think that the FOMO might come more from the pop-up, where if you have this event that you're doing that could be only a couple hours long, it could be a weekend, it could be months long. The whole thing is that because we know it's a pop-up, there will be this expiration. It's going to go away. And so that gives us some fuel in our marketing to talk about this event, to create that desire to go. You don't want to miss out because this is going away. As we know, events are a really great tool, a really great thing to use in our marketing to drive more people into the store, to get more of that engagement. And so this is very similar by doing a pop-up. So the thing that I think is really cool, you're actually going to have to listen to May 26th. We're going to be releasing a conversation I had with Darn It Anyway. It's a set of cousins who run this store, Darn It Anyway. And they do some of these kind of pop-ups. They actually do a pop-up on a boat. And it is one of the coolest things that I've heard. It is wildly successful. And they talk about what they do in that episode and break down results from it. And I think it's just so incredibly smart. And it's a perfect example of using a pop-up to connect with your customers to create this very exclusive, limited time opportunity to connect with your store. And doing so in a really creative way, which is on a boat. So I absolutely love this idea. I also love the idea of these pop-ins. And this is where, as you learned from the episode, where you're bringing somebody into the store or you're going into another business and you have your own little area in another business and a bigger business. You know, we're seeing that with some of the big boxes. I think Sephora has their own kind of pop-in inside of Target and or Kohl's. So that's a perfect example of a business going into a bigger business and having a little section in there. And I just think for independents, we mentioned this on Allison's episode. She has a really cool plant example. And I think that's a really cool thing that a lot of retailers can bring in is plants or flowers. And then what's neat about that is whatever vendor you're bringing in, let's just stick with this plant shop idea. They're bringing in these really beautiful plants and flowers, and they have their own kind of pop in. And maybe they're only doing this every weekend or the first Wednesday of every month or whatever that looks like. Ideally, you're partnering with somebody who you love their products, you love them, they're a great addition to your store. And ideally, they're also good marketers. they have a good following on social media or maybe a good email list that they can be promoting the fact that they're going to be in your store to come see you because you'll definitely promote that through your marketing as well that we have so and so plant company that's here. So in addition to all the great things you can get here, you can also walk away with these gorgeous plants or flowers. You'll promote that and that will help drive traffic. But I think there's opportunities here to have whoever's the pop in person to promote it and help drive traffic into your store so you could get some new people coming in. I also think leveraging outdoor signage like sandwich boards or balloons or some sort of sign that says exclusive plants and flowers available today only. It could drive people in. And I'm not a merchandising expert. I have listened to Michelle Sherrier with the Retail Whore and Georgianne Bender with Kaiser and Bender. I think they would say maybe bring that person to the back. As you come into the store, you want to be able to see them back there. So you could see some of these beautiful flowers and plants. You don't want to block your view. Georgianne calls this lakefront property, I believe. I'm trying to remember all the stuff she talked about at Evolve. There was such great content there. But we want them to be able to see what's going on in the store. So it pulls them in and they are taken back there. So if you're doing something fun, and especially if it's plants and flowers and it's colorful and it's beautiful, using that signage on the sidewalk to drive people in. And then today only, that feels very much like I don't want to miss out. That's where that FOMO, that was such a big takeaway for me over this episode. I don't want to miss out. It's only today. Let's just take a look at what they have. So there's a lot of different things you can do here. You can have a bookstore, do a pop-up in your store or a pop-in where they're selling books or journals or candles. You can have gift items, custom jewelry, permanent jewelry, design consultations, or just if you're a home decor store, you could do design consultations. If you're a clothing store, you could have a stylist that styles the stars and they're only here over the next couple of days. Those kinds of services that you could offer where people can speak to an expert. Or maybe you have massage chairs, those like sit down chairs, or like getting nails done. Like I said, the custom jewelry, some of those types of services. Or maybe your store lends itself nicely to feature local artists and become an art gallery, but it's your whole, like your store is a gallery that then gets turned over every couple weeks or once a month. And then you have a new look, a new artist. And this is another reason for people to come in to see what's new and the whole new artist unveiling. That could be a whole event around that. The artist could be there. They could be signing. And then we want to leverage the artists to be promoting that event too. So it's another way that they're like popping in. They're a part of your store. Food and beverage is a great pop-in opportunity as well, which also makes me think of Beth Rich with Mix It Up Home and Mix It Up Gift. Beth, if you're listening, big shout out because I know that she listens to every episode of Rooted in Retail, which means the world to me. So something that Beth does, she's a very successful retailer. She's been on the show before. And she's partnered with a local winery where you can buy wine in her store. So that's another cool example of just partnering up. Now, I believe, but I can't come, I don't know this for sure. I think that the winery does some tastings in there too. So it's like this pop-up experience. Then you could buy the bottles through Beth. I believe that's how it's all working. But of course, you can use your imagination on the execution of partnering with a food or beverage, winery, beer, microbrewery, something company to create that experience and a pop-in to just get people coming in. So I love this idea of thinking creatively, thinking different. Here's the deal. If you're doing these pop-ins and maybe they become a regular thing, maybe for one type of business or a couple types of businesses, depending on how your store layout, how big the store is, they may actually pay you some rent. And so this is an opportunity to offset some of your costs while driving in traffic, because ideally they're promoting it, you're promoting it. And it's just a really nice collaborative approach to helping your customers even further. So as you start this research and this brainstorming, because I always think it's good to explore new things and for us to evolve. And so I would look at, who are my perfect customer groups? What are their pain points? And what are their desires? And how else can we really serve them on this unique level, this creative level, this memorable level that really aligns with our brand and our store and our culture? And having that be a journal prompt or just something that you really think about, and then start generating and brainstorming some ideas of those types of businesses that would be really perfect matches for you. Even ask your customers. They might have some really creative ideas. You could post this on social, in an email, at the checkout, things like that. Just get to talking to them and see what their ideas are. What do they need? I think this is such an opportunity for you to be memorable, to create a new experience, things that big boxes have a hard time doing, and really support another local business. So, again, if you are doing pop ins, pop ups, I want to know about it. So does our Rooted in Retail retailers, our little roots. Are we calling them little roots? In our Facebook page. So share pictures, tell us what you're doing. I want to hear. And next week, it's going to be me. I am your guest. I am going to be talking about the top takeaways and lessons from Evolve, our action packed, amazing feedback, incredible event. It couldn't have gone better than if I had a magic wand and just said, poof, this is exactly how I want it to be. That's how it was. It was an incredible event, and I'm just so proud of my team on what we delivered. And I'm going to be sharing it all with you behind the scenes of those big takeaways and what some of the speakers were teaching and just why you should be evolving and focusing on that and some questions you should be asking yourself. So be sure to tune in with me next week because I am the guest. We won't have an after the show next week. So it's just me, and I will see you over there. Remember that I am rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye.